Kentaro Miura's grim-dark fantasy seinen series, Berserk, is undeniably a manga that towers over the rest. After the creator's death in 2021, the announcement of the continuation of Berserk's publication was met with jubilation from the fans. The raw, storytelling genius of Berserk promises to move and captivate readers once more. Today, we're exploring the best of Berserk's manga-only arcs and why they're unmissable. Conviction Arc! Starting strong at number 1, we have the Conviction Arc, the third story of Miura's Berserk that is preceded by the Golden Age and Black Swordsman Arcs and followed by the Millennium Falcon Arc. Berserk follows the story of Guts, a mercenary who's been branded by the God Hand and has a vendetta to seek revenge against Griffith, a mercenary leader who betrayed Guts and his comrades at an earlier point. In this journey, he encounters quite a few villains, elf-like creatures, demonic apostles, and forges unlikely alliances. The Conviction Arc, which is volumes 14 through 21, is a turning point in Berserk, plunging Guts into his darkest, most transformative journey. The arc picks up from where the viewers have seen Guts lose everything, and now, with Puck as a companion, his journey shifts from just sheer revenge to more of confronting the demons of his past, navigating trauma, hope, and everything in between. The arc spans 3 main chapters: Lost Children, Binding Chain, and Birth Ceremony. Starting with Lost Children, it's a standalone segment that's manga exclusive and skipped in the 2016 anime, much to the disappointment of fans. The storyline starts with Guts and his sidekick Puck rescuing a girl named Jill from bandits. The duo feel a darker force is at work, which is confirmed when they find out that Jill's village has been invaded by elves. These elves are later revealed to be children who are transformed into warped and twisted forms by Apostle Rosine. As Guts fights the demonic apostle, amid the disfigured and grotesque creatures under her influence, Jill's fellow villagers still blame him for the carnage. Guts takes Jill under his wing to keep her safe, then frees her again as he slowly realizes she's not ready for a life like his. It's not her that needs protection, rather it's her humanity that needs to be kept safe and away from the hell he lives in. This powerful segment redefines and places Guts in a whole new light, adding another layer to his personality, giving him a more human touch. The next chapter, Binding Chain, finds a wounded Guts captured by the rigid Holy Iron Chain Knights led by Farnace and Azan. After putting up a fierce fight for survival against Azan and Serpico and killing several of Farnace's soldiers, Guts is overpowered and taken into custody. After undergoing immense humiliation, Guts turns the mirror towards Farnace, which causes her to question her belief system and the ideology of her order. With Puck's help, Guts lights the camp on fire and escapes with Farnace as a hostage. Serpico, a loyalist of Farnace, begs for Guts to let her go and convinces him that he won't be pursued. The Birth Ceremony chapter, the most intense amongst the 3 chapters and the conclusion of the Conviction Arc, has Guts travel to Albion to rescue Casca, who's been kidnapped and taken. Mozgus plans a twisted ritual that would be a recreation of the eclipse and helps reincarnate Griffith in a physical form. After fighting through a sea of cultists as well as Mozgus, who has transformed himself into a demonic apostle, Guts manages to rescue Casca. But in a twist no one saw coming, the egg apostle that was supposed to rebirth Griffith consumes the corrupted fetus that is Guts' weird child, and the tower collapses just as Griffith is reborn. The arc does a great job at laying the groundwork for the following arc, along with dealing with brilliant character growth for Guts and elevating it from just a regular mercenary with vendetta to someone who gets reconnected to his sense of humanity and has a new purpose. The Millennium Falcon Arc. The longest arc of Berserk, the Millennium Falcon Arc, which spans volumes 22 through 35, is also known as Falcon of the Millennium Empire Arc and is the 4th storyline of the series. The arc, which mainly follows Griffith's reincarnation and its consequences, is spread across 2 main chapters, the Holy Evil War chapter and the Falconia chapter. A fan favorite, the arc deepens the characters and delivers a game-changing plot. The Holy Evil War chapter begins immediately from where the last arc ended, with Griffith's rebirth. Guts confronts Griffith on the Hill of Swords but is interrupted by Zod and can't bring himself to strike him. Griffith has his eyes set on forming his kingdom again, gathering his apostles once more and creating the new Band of the Hawk. He then directs his attention towards 2 warring empires, Midland and Kushan, hoping to use them to his advantage and further his dream of cementing his influence. Meanwhile, Guts and Puck have formed new alliances that help them in their quest to protect Casca and keep her safe. The alliances are with Farnace, Serpico, and Isidro, who made their first appearances appearances in the previous Conviction arc. On their journey towards Flora, a witch living in a spirit-influenced magic forest, they also meet with Shirke, a mage who gives them deeper insight into the astral and magical world and how they can use it to their benefit. It's also in this arc that a very new and interesting element is introduced, that being the Berserker armor, an item that would enhance his strength but at the cost of his sanity and touch with reality. It's interesting to witness Guts, a hardcore mercenary, now putting his life on the line and willing to chip away at his grip on reality for the people he loves. After he acquires the armor, Guts has to immediately face the Apostles who have now infiltrated the forest and threatened his allies. After saving his teammates, Guts and the others are again in danger from Grunbeld, Griffith's new apostle, but Flora comes to the rescue and holds off Grunbeld while the group makes their way away from the burning forest, and Shirke is on her way to choose her own life path. The Falconia chapter is quite interesting as it presents Griffith as the savior as opposed to the ruthless, brutal image that has existed till now, with him fighting against the Kushan Empire and earning a savior status from the other warring empire Midland. Griffith, with his army of demonic apostles, moves closer to his dream of a utopian kingdom thriving under his rule. The kingdom soon came to fruition and was named Falconia. It housed both people and apostles living together, with Griffith as the unopposed messiah. On the other hand, Guts and the team make their way towards the land of the elves, hoping to find a cure for Casca's state of mind that was shattered during the dark time of Eclipse, leaving her childlike and dependent on Guts. Despite the deterioration it's causing Guts, he continues using the Berserker armor to fend off the Apostles and other negative elements that crop up in their journey. Shirke becomes a crucial element as she helps ground Guts during his decline and keeps him in touch with reality. As the chapter progresses, Farnace takes on a nurturing role for Casca, while Isidro proves his mettle by becoming a better fighter than his previous identity as a petty thief. Fantasia Arc. The Fantasia Arc, which is the 5th arc, is still ongoing and has a futuristic high fantasy feel, giving Berserk a total shift in tonality. In this arc, as the astral and physical realms merge into the Kingdom of Falconia, Guts and his team continue on their journey to Elfhelm, the Kingdom of Elves, where they wish to meet the King of Elves, hoping for a cure for Casca. Totally a manga-exclusive arc, which hasn't yet been adapted to an anime, it starts off with the aftermath that followed the creation of Falconia. The Fantasia Arc feels ethereal, with a beautifully descriptive presentation of the merged worlds, with spirits, demons, and mythical creatures coexisting with humans. Currently, there are 2 chapters, the Elf Island chapter and the Eastern Exile chapter. The former starts with Guts and the group traveling to Elfhelm via the Seahorse. En route, the group runs into a reanimated ghost ship complete with undead sailors and is attacked by the Sea God. With the combined forces of Shirke and Guts, they successfully destroy the beast and continue on their quest. Upon arriving at Skellig, they encounter trap-like magical defenses like winding forest paths, mysterious barriers which elves can only enter, and distracting scarecrows. But it is in Elfhelm that the group experiences a moment of peace after the life-harrowing experiences that have led them here. The journey of strengthening Casca's mind starts with Shirke and Farnace entering Casca's mind to face her trauma in what are called Dream Journey sessions. She slowly begins reconnecting with her past while regaining the identity of her lost self, although facing Guts triggers her terrible memories of the Eclipse. Throughout the arc, the complicated relationship Guts has with the Berserker armor is also hinted at as it continues tearing away at his insides and his sense of humanity while making him the strongest he's ever been. Amid wild surges of rage that take him over during the moments that he loses touch with reality, Shirke and a childlike flame figure, referred to as the Moonlight Boy, who has some connection with Casca and Griffith, anchor him. With Shirke refining her magical skills, Farnace also develops healing powers from helping Casca on her journey to repair her broken self. Griffith continues holding the throne as the King of Falconia. Where the story may turn is a huge question mark, one that's anticipated by fans and would possibly oversee Guts' internal war and where it leads him, and perhaps a complete recovery for Casca, who may be able to put what happened to her in the past, and finally add some answers to quite a few ongoing mysteries. Black Swordsman Arc. The prologue to Berserk, Black Swordsman Arc, sets the stage with its gripping storyline that introduces the readers to Guts, the protagonist, and his tale of despair, revenge, and redemption. In this arc, we actually come to terms with why the Guts we've come to love and relate to is the way he is. In the opening scene, Guts murders a nobleman who's revealed to be an apostle. An apostle is nothing but an inhuman demon form who has been transformed to this state because of sacrificing someone near to them for power. Guts himself is known as the Black Swordsman due to the massive sword he bears, a prosthetic arm that works as a cannon, and a branding on his neck that bleeds whenever he's near demonic entities or apostles. His sidekick Puck, who's depicted as a small elf, accompanies him on his mission and has a personality and aura quite different from Guts's. As the plot thickens, the reason for the Black Swordsman, aka Guts's wrath, is slowly revealed. He's on a revenge mission to cleanse the world of the apostles and godlike entities he calls the God Hand. An interesting element is also introduced in this arc, being the Behelit. This egg-shaped artifact enables and aids in the process of transforming a human into an apostle. It's also hinted that the branding on Guts, also known as the Brand of Sacrifice, is tied to a horrifying backstory. He's tormented each night by the monster of his past, which ultimately gives him the motivation to wipe out the apostles from the face of the earth. As he visits town after town to find and eliminate these apostles, he enters a town that's ruled by a count, who ultimately became an apostle himself and is known for feasting on heretics. Guts, who is depicted as an otherwise very brutal person, also has a humane, soft side to him, as described in his interactions with Puck. As the battle with the Count escalates, Guts forces him to confront his sins by nearly killing his own daughter, triggering a horrific summoning of the God Hand. It's also in this arc that we're introduced to Femto, later known as Griffith, and the other members of the God Hand. The Count gets another chance to sacrifice his daughter, but refuses, for which he's condemned to the abyss. Guts and Femto face off for the first time, with flashbacks of his traumatic past eclipsing the moment. It's otherwise a dark and bleak arc, and although it sheds light on Guts' past, it gets too real and candid at times. It's in this very arc that we truly come to terms with Guts and his one-man rebellion and his true purpose behind it. Marvelous verdict! Thanks for sticking with us till the end of this video. Looking back, maybe Berserk's manga-only arcs were omitted for a reason. Perhaps the risk of the adapted versions falling short of capturing the full scale of Miura's storytelling genius was too great, especially with censorship being what it is. Which arc left you speechless, or heartbroken, or both? Let us know in the comments down below. We're always looking for ideas for new videos. Time for us to sign off, but we'll see you in the next marvelous video.